Now, after the Inspector General released its scathing report on Hillary Clinton's email server, here comes the Washington spin. Now, this is according to Politico. Clinton's campaign manager has gone into damage control with campaign chairman John Podesta sending out an email reassuring supporters that Hillary Clinton, on the email thing, oh, she's got this, man. Nothing to worry about. Nothing. There's no there here. Okay, so let's just all calm down and vote for Hillary. He writes, since last year, Clinton has said her use of a personal email server was a mistake. And while there have been ongoing reviews of this matter, the completion of the Inspector General's examination gets us one step closer to resolving this. While the rules surrounding the use of a personal email account were clarified after Secretary Clinton left office, and the Inspector General recommends the State Department take measures to even further clarify them, the Secretary has once again acknowledged that this was a mistake. And she has taken responsibility for that mistake, including in many interviews she's done since the report's release. See? Nothing to worry about. It was a mistake. She admitted that it was a mistake. I mean, how dare we hold Hillary Clinton accountable? Well, she held herself accountable, so that should be good enough for you. So now let's get on with the coronation, shall we? Now, this article notes that the memo from Podesta is the latest instance of the Clinton campaign combating the narrative, despite the latest IG report out last Wednesday, which determined she had not complied with federal record-keeping laws. Quote, had Secretary Clinton known of any concerns about her email setup at the time, Podesta wrote, she would have taken steps to address them. Well, there were concerns. According to the same IG report, there were 2 employees in the Office of Information Resources Management who raised concerns about Clinton's personal email account. And when they raised those concerns, Hillary Clinton staffers said, well, hey, you are to never speak of these again. Don't talk about the emails. You can't talk about them. Huh. No concerns. We would have dealt with them if somebody brought up a concern. Except that somebody brought up a concern and we told them to shut the fuck up. Apparently the IG says, oh, really? We disagree with you because there were concerns. Now there's more. Now Podesta wrote that Clinton was unaware during her time as Secretary of State that her emails to officials at state gov addresses were not automatically preserved. Now that's a big deal because once again, that's according to the Federal Records Act. You're supposed to keep federal records of all your emails. That's what you're supposed to do. Well, she didn't. And she believed, quote, that she was following the practices of other secretaries and senior officials. That's not exactly true, right? In an email exchange with her aide, Huma Abedin, Clinton was advised that her home setup was causing her messages to get caught in the State Department's spam filters. Well, that's not good, right? In fact, quote, in November 2010, Secretary Clinton and her Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations discussed the fact that Secretary Clinton's emails to department employees were not being received. The IG report noted, the Deputy Chief of Staff emailed the Secretary that we should talk about putting you on state email or releasing your email address to the department so you're not going to spam. In response, the Secretary wrote, let's get separate address or device, but I don't want to risk of the personal being accessible. Basically, she knew there were concerns. And she said, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm not going to follow the recommendations of my aides. I'll take a separate device, but I don't want any of my personal emails to be part of this. Then why use your own personal server? Why not use a State Department email? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there, and there already are, that are calling this a double standard. Because other people have done it. Colin Powell did it. Yeah, and what he did was also wrong. Because Colin Powell did it, and people are, throwing a fit over Colin Powell, well, it doesn't mean that he didn't do wrong as well and shouldn't be called out for it. But there's a difference. Colin Powell's not running for president. He doesn't have an active investigation on him by the FBI. Did he still do wrong? Of course. Should he get the same kind of in the same kind of trouble? Well, it depends on if the rules were clarified to the point of when Hillary Clinton, of the rules were when Hillary Clinton was head of the State Department. If the rules were not clarified when Colin Powell was Secretary of State, well then, did he break any of them by having his home address? Well, I guess that's up to interpretation. And I guess that's why we're looking into it, why the FBI is looking into it. We'll see. But here's the thing, right? Don't set up a home server and a private email for State Department business. It's not secure. And that's really the whole crux of the issue. The State Department has classified info, right? And look, when you've got a home server set up, that classified that classified information goes through that private home server. Well, it's not secure. That's why this is an issue of national security, and one that she knew better going into. It's not that people didn't tell her that this was a bad idea. They told her, and she said, I don't care. She ignored the warnings. Oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be secure. In fact, according to a watchdog agency, Clinton, quote, never demonstrated to the State Department security officials that her personal server or BlackBerry device met minimum information security requirements. Furthermore, they said that her decision not to use an official email department email address is not an appropriate method of preserving emails under the Federal Records Act. So not only is it not secure, but it also didn't follow the Federal Records Act. Now they say, the IG, Secretary Clinton should have preserved any federal records she created and received on her personal account by printing and filing those records with the related files in the office of the Secretary. At a minimum, Secretary Clinton should have surrendered all emails dealing with department business before leaving government service, and because she did not do so, she did not comply with the department's policies that were implemented in accordance with the Federal Records Act. That seems pretty clear. Now on that, Podesta says, quote, while we understand the questions about Secretary Clinton's email practices, we are confident that voters will look at the full picture of everything she has done throughout her career. We have faith in the American people. They know we have to be focused on solutions that will make a real difference in people's lives. We understand the questions. In fact, that's why her negativity and her trustworthiness ratings are in the toilet. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Look, Trump. Yeah, you need us to beat Trump. Except that she does worse against Trump. Or she ties Trump. She does worse than Bernie against Trump. Bernie crushes Trump. She does not. In fact, she has lost so much ground against Donald Trump. But of course, they're going to blame that on Bernie Sanders. In fact, they already are. But hey, ignore the email issue. Ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. You think Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to ignore that? He hasn't exactly been shy in attacking her on anything else. Right now, he's having a field day calling Bill Clinton a rapist, which is ridiculous, but, that's what he's going with. You think when he's done with that, he's not going to go after the emails? Come on, man. Look, this is one of the many reasons that we're shouting to the Democratic establishment, you're going to hit that iceberg. Dead ahead, iceberg dead ahead. You're going to hit it. You're going to hit it. Hillary Clinton is a flawed, weak general election candidate. And yet, the Clinton campaign and the media, they're all going, shh, no, ignore this. Ignore the polls. Ignore Bernie Sanders. Ignore. It doesn't exist. Shh, it's not a big deal. There's no there. Ignore everything. While the vast majority of the American public sees this and think, man, I cannot trust this person. I've got a real issue of trust. I don't trust this candidate. I don't like this candidate. That's a problem. Now, I realize that a lot of that comes from right-wing smears. Some that I've defended her against, like Benghazi. But it's pretty clear, on this one, she did something wrong. And she brushed off any concerns when it came to it. And that I can't defend her on. Whether or not this leads to an indictment, I don't know. Maybe at this point it doesn't matter. Because what really matters is that the trust of the American people in Hillary Clinton and the establishment that's backing her is not going to get any better from here. And in fact, Might get worse. There's your iceberg, and you're heading right for it.